Hey friends, it's Melissa Anderson, your local St. Johns County, Florida realtor. This video, we're going to take a look at May 2025 housing stats for St. Johns County, looking at single family homes, and what it means if you're thinking about buying or selling. So stay tuned. All right, as always, I'm going to pop these stats right here on the video so you can follow along with me, and we'll look at these together. So if you have any questions, make sure you leave those in the comments below, or you can use my contact information that I'm going to share right here. You can always reach out by phone, text, email with any questions that you have, or if you're thinking about potentially moving here, reach out and we can get that conversation started. So let's take a look here. We can see that the median sales price that dipped slightly. You can see here 549, 450. So that was down 2.8% from May 2024. So year over year that declined. And so what that means is like prices are stabilizing and buyers have more room to negotiate, and that's for sure. And then just side caveat to that, I was reading an article this past week, and it was mentioning how like what cities in Florida were buyers markets, and Jacksonville was definitely one of those. And wholeheartedly agree, it's definitely a buyer's market down here. And it also mentioned that like 44% of sellers right now are offering concessions, and that is just real close to the highest record. So considering that, and then, as you know, here in St. Johns County, we still have a ton of new construction going on. And so we're finding that that's kind of, it can be competition with sellers who are selling their resale homes, because those builders are offering everything under the sun to get you into one of those new construction homes. So either buying down the rate, offering concessions, paid closing costs. I've seen them paying off the CDD here, offering a golf cart, you name it. You name it, it's probably happening right now. And a recent deal that just closed in May, May this past month, for new construction, they got their rate bought down to 4.5% for 2 years. Was it 2 years? For 2 years. And then after that, their rate was locked in for 5.5% for the life of their loan. Plus, they got $53,000 in incentive money. And so that incentive money also went towards buying down the rate to that low. But they got all their paid closing costs. There's also things that was included in the home. And then I know that Water Song over at Rivertown right now, that's the 55 plus community, until June 30th, they are offering a golf cart. It's really nice, actually. It's a really, really nice golf cart with your purchase. So, of course, you're going to need a golf cart when you're moving here, right? You got to get around. So, if you have questions about specific communities, builders, and what those incentives are, please let me know. All that to say, the sellers here that have the resale homes, they're wanting, I mean, they're needing to sell their home for certain reasons. They are being more negotiable and trying to work with buyers to either offer money to buy down the rates, or concessions towards closing costs and prepaid, stuff like that. So don't let that deter you. All right, so let's look at the closed sales. You can see here that we had 520 closed sales of single family homes last month in the month of May, and that was down 21.3% year over year, but it was up 11.6% from April. And so that is a sign that's kind of warming up again after a little bit of a slower spring. Keep that in mind. And then days on market, so those are taking a little bit longer to sell at 51 days. That's up 21.4% year over year. Bad news for sellers, maybe good news for buyers who need a little bit more time. There's more inventory. Homes aren't getting snatched up as quickly, so they're not having to make maybe as rushed decisions. And then let's look at list price received over asking price. So sellers received about 97.7% of asking price, and That's 6% closed over asking. So competitive offers still exist for desirable homes. So not the norm, but it's still happening. And then, so the sold price per square footage, we can see there's a slight year-over-year dip, signaling some steadiness there. And then let's take a look at new listing inventory. So our new listings were down 10%, nearly 10%, but active inventory is up 11.1%. So again, giving buyers more choices. And you can see the active inventory, what is that at? 2,648, and that's just St. Johns County. We're not even looking at the other counties, and that's just single family homes. So lots of inventory out there. And then we now have about 5.1 months of inventory. That's up 50% year over year. So that's moving us towards more of a balanced market for sure. Now let's look at buyer activity. New pending contracts, that was down 36.5%, and showings down about 42.1%. So is that buyer hesitation due to rates or pricing? And I just mentioned, because I did a quick video for Instagram, and when we're talking about pricing, that's another thing that I'm seeing here in the market. For appraisals, I don't know what they're trying to correct the market or what is going on, but several appraisals have come back under what the contracted price is. So that can be super disappointing, obviously, for sellers. I know that we had that huge kind of boom 2020 during COVID, and it was like, okay, well, I purchased my house for like say $415,000. Now all of a sudden my house is worth $700,000. So I don't know. I feel like things are starting to correct themselves a little bit. I mean, obviously they're not pre or COVID prices, but I do see the market kind of correcting itself a little bit there. So take that, especially if you're considering selling, take that into consideration that home prices are softening quite a bit, at least here in this area, okay? So we're seeing longer market times, steady prices, and more inventory. If you're a buyer, again, this could be your moment. This could be your time to shine because like I said, it is a buyer's market down here right now. And then if you're a seller, so pricing strategically and prepping your home, what is really going to matter. It's how can you get your home to stand out? So really making sure that your home is looking the top that it can to stand out in the market. If you're thinking of making a move, let's talk strategy. If you're thinking of making a move, let's talk strategy. You can use my contact information again right here to reach out, and we can kind of come up with a timeline. You can let me know what you're looking for. Now, if you this is like 3 years out, we can make an initial connection, and then we can touch base closer to. But I can't imagine that the housing market is going to be the same. Things will have changed considerably in 3 years. So I know maybe you're excited to make that move down here, but just wait closer to that time. I mean, I can definitely keep your contact information, add you to the newsletter. We can stay in touch that way, but there's not going to be much work I can do for you if your move is like three years out, or maybe even 2 years. Like, I'm excited for you, but let's get closer to that time, like a realistic time frame. I mean, a year is good. I mean, a year's that's not too late, but all right. And then also a caveat to that, if you are moving to Florida, if you're moving to this area for out of state, in the article, it also talked about sellers markets. So this might be beneficial to you if you're thinking about moving from here. This might be a good time to sell and move because it's a seller's market in your market and a buyer's market here. So these were the cities that they were talking about are definitely sellers markets right now. And that's Cleveland, Ohio, Newark, and New Brunswick and New Jersey, Baltimore, Maryland, Providence, Rhode Island, Nassau County, New York, Montgomery County, PA. Yeah, and that was it. So those are all sellers markets. So if you live in one of those markets and you need a realtor to sell your home, let me know. I can connect you with a colleague there, and then we can get your home here. So if you have any questions at all about any of this inventory, maybe you have a neighborhood in mind that you're wanting to move to and you want those stats for that, let me know, and I can pull the stats up for that specific neighborhood or that zip code. And don't forget, if you made it this far, to go ahead and like and subscribe to this video, and stay tuned for more updates and local market updates. Thanks so much.